Hi everyone, I'm just doing a very brief kind of, I guess, studying test out. Since I switched to futures, it's a little bit different for my liking, but it's something that I'm kind of like currently working on and trying to figure out. But the gist is kind of the same. I mean, I was working on basically not necessarily a strategy, but just kind of like a better way to refine what I do for like opening range. And so I'm going to kind of show you here what I'm working on. Oops. Here. So we're doing futures. We're doing Dow Jones, Micro, E, Mini for now for the contracts that I'm doing. And the expiration that we're doing is just basically like the day. We're not gonna try to hold it. We're gonna just go basically in and out. Our entry is going to be based on the 5-minute time frame, and we're going to basically be looking at the hourly chart. Now, since we're just kind of like doing a very, very primitive form of back testing, I'm not going to dive too deeply into like the hourly. I'm just basically like training myself to kind of look at and mentally preparing for 9:30 in the morning, because this is basically a New York session range that opens. It'll be 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time when the New York Stock Exchange opens, and we're looking at the Dow Jones. More specifically, the Dow Jones, because it seems like I think it reacts pretty well with it. I feel like S&P 500 and NASDAQ, they're a little slow, I guess you could say, they're a little tame. Not like that's a bad thing, but I've just been used to trading US 30 or Dow Jones, so I kind of like how it moves, and sometimes I feel like it does a really good job of moving. But there's days too, though, that, it'll consolidate, which is normal. It is what it is. That's why we have to look at the hourly chart and higher for any levels, market structures, support and resistances that we need to pay attention to and mark up. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. But there is an indicator that I'm using. It's called the OpenRangeBreakout indicator that I found on Tradingview, and it's free. And we're also using Super Trend Signal. It's going to give us the buy or sell. And what we're going to do is, ideally, I'd like to see it before the session starts, kind of like right around maybe 8:30, 9, for like a signal to kind of get an idea. And then that helps as well too if we know that there's key levels that we can pay attention to. So we wait for that to happen, and then we wait for the retest. And then for the risk management, the indicator itself, the open range breakout indicator on TradingView, gives you like particular levels that you can use for for your targets, levels of targets. So let's just kind of get into it. So we are on Micro, E, Mini, Dow Jones right now. So this is kind of what it looks like, and the indicator is called ORB, Open Range Indicator. By Syntax Geek. I don't think I changed anything to it, but just the look itself. And then Super Trend is at the bottom. By this guy Kevin Bilgic. I didn't do anything to that look either. Like, I didn't change anything to it. Whatever the default setting is what I have for it, and then everything else. I have freckles and previous day low, that kind of thing. I do have these EMAs. We don't necessarily need them. So when I go to the hourly, right, like everything here, there's nothing really here. I might have my EMAs, and it's not going to look like this all the time, but I usually keep an eye out on the 200 EMA. What prices in relation to that. So, for example, let me just close this up right here. Right? We have this key structure, previous highs that were over here, and price at some point, you know, might go to that, or it might try to touch the 200 moving average that's right here. But you guys can kind of see, like, if we saw this in a smaller time frame, right? Once it starts kind of having these lower lows and lower highs, and then once it broke past this level of structure, then there's a high probability that it might try to fill this area, this price imbalance that's happening right here. And might be a good idea to kind of keep an eye out on possibly a profit target that's right around here. So that's kind of what we look for, right? So we just kind of keep an eye out on that type of possible movement. But here, when we go in the 5-minute range, we're just kind of like going in and out. So this is like a good example of this. So the ORB indicator has already marked everything for you for the most part. When you look at it, this green box is what we're looking for as far as the range. So ideally, if I zoom in, right, would I have wanted, like, this is the most ideal situation because it bounces out of the box. I would ideally want it to kind of come back and retest maybe this area, but once it breaks through, you can even, and, you know, since we're just doing very, you know, primitive, just, you know, back testing on this right now, just to kind of visually see what it looks like. It looks good right now until you actually start trading it. But once they start pushing for like the previous lows right here, then that would have been a really good confirmation. You already know it's going down because we've got the moving average of the 200. We're going below it. We're going below the signal right here, and this is the super trend signal right here that's saying sell with the red shading that's happening, and then we also have another moving average that's pushing it lower. So this would have been a good trade. And then it shows you too with the opening range that these levels right here, when you short it, when it breaks down, you've got 1, 2, 3 levels of targets that you can potentially, you know, reach. And then you can always have your risk right around the middle, which is the midpoint right here, the ORB midpoint, or depending on whatever it is, you can just have it up to, you know, a certain points or something. It just, you know, depends on your risk management that you're doing. So this would have been the most ideal without looking at the hourly range, and really ideal situation of what we typically would want to look for. Because it's that 930 is right there. Comes down, we get the signal, and it starts to move down, pushing past these market structures as previous low. That's right here. That's perfect. It's not always going to be perfect, right? So this one is, we're not there yet. Okay, so this one's a pretty big move. Now, this one actually showed a couple of things, right? So this one, we have our super trend signal that happened before 930, which is perfectly fine, and I like seeing those because then we can kind of start planning out. Same thing, previous highs, right? So we've got some of these highs right here. If price opens, you know, higher and past that, then that's great. And we already at, you guys can see we've got the 200 moving average EMA that's right here, and so we can already have a bias. So we already have a buy signal from the super trend, and we're kind of going up already. And I did neglect to say that this light blue line that I have here shows the previous day's highs and low. And this one is already from the previous day's high. So I'm already thinking that at some point or another, it's probably going to want to move up. And if you want to play a more safer entry, you could probably have entered right here, because this is a better market structure than actually trying to come in here. That's, you know, totally up to you though. Or you could still, if you wanted to, you could have still waited for that, but it, you know, it didn't really move up as high. But if you wanted to play that safely, let's say you waited for it to move past the box or outside the box, you could have still made the first initial profit. So you could have still done, like, you know, a pretty decent ratio with your risk. So that's 2. Now we've got 3. So this one would have been a little challenging because this would have been a bit of a mixed signal, right? So we've got the previous previous high from before, and we're kind of at the top of it, and then you can tell like price was trying to push, but it wasn't sure what it was trying to do. And then we did get that signal with the super trend signal, but it's kind of in a really awkward spot with the moving averages. And like I said, we're not looking at the hourly or any of the, longer term type of market structure, so we don't really know what's happening at this point, right? Just based on what we're looking at. But playing it safe and just waiting to see what exactly happens. It finally moves out of the box. We've got the buy signal from the super trend. We've got finally the EMAs actually forming the trend that we're looking for, right? We've got the yellow EMA, the orange EMA that's now price action is above it, and it's forming more of these higher highs and higher lows. And now we've got the EMA, the 200 EMA, the price is above that. And now we have it retesting this box. And as you guys can see, there's definitely, it went up higher. It did reach beyond the 3 that we had, the 3 levels of target that we had. So there's that potential that you could have held that position. So it just, like I said, it kind of just depends. And now this is, like I said, what I like about Dow Jones is it works really well with the open range. I tried it with the other ones, and I'm going to be completely honest, I feel like it's a little, they don't behave the same. And I'm used to Dow Jones movement. So, and then now this is the previous one. So same thing, right? So we did get a buy signal, but we're going to wait because we're still kind of, this is still mixed signals, because so down here we got the previous day's low, and we're at the bottom. But the issue that we're having is we got the buy signal for the super trend. We need more confirmation, basically, of whether or not we should get in. We're below the red line. We're below the 200 EMA, and our price action is still below the 200 EMA, but we're above the orange EMA. And I'm sorry, I probably should have clarified that it's an 8 EMA. And you don't have to use that, by the way. It's just since I'm in a smaller time frame, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more reactive with this with the moving average. You can use whatever moving average that you want. But that does help though. So we'll wait and figure out exactly what the best entry point is, and just kind of figure out, like we need the confirmation basically. So when we started noticing that it's moving up, now we have it where, all right, we're above the 200 moving average, we're moving away from this low, and then we still have, that buy signal is still there, and it hasn't changed or anything for us. So then once it moves out the box, then we are able to hit those 3 levels of targets and then some also. So that's another opportunity right there. And, like I said, we're not going to, like this one right here, perfect example. I was actually just about to say, like, it's not going to be perfect. Like, we're not going to win it all the time. But what I love about it is, like, okay, 9:30 and until, like, 11 or something is then that's when we, like, really start making really good money. Like, you don't have to wait a million freaking years to look for a setup. So this one would have been this one's sideways. This one would suck. This is a Monday, so I don't, again, I don't know what this would have looked like on a higher time frame. I don't know if there's news, nothing. So we're just looking at it in a technical aspect, and this would have been a very, very challenging one. I probably, just looking at it, I probably would have lost something. I probably would have lost some money on this one because it's just so many signals. It's all confusing. I probably thought I would have bought, done a buy signal for this or something, just because of like the moving averages. We're above the 200, and maybe this part right here probably would have messed me up. But even if it did, we would have had some pretty decent trades like three or four winning trades, the ones that we just talked about before, and those were pretty good. Those were like extended, like they were good moving price action. So we're gonna go with this one. So this one, yeah, this one's pretty good too. But like I said, looking at it, so we got the previous signal for a sell, and it's great because like now we see that even prior, now price is moving below that. We've got these lows that were right here from previous sessions. We've got waiting for the session to open up, or to show us kind of what we want to do. We did get a buy signal, but luckily we got a sell signal, and waiting for that to push past this, and it only reached maybe 1.5, let's just say, of our target goal, which isn't bad. Whatever, like profit is profit. You can't get mad at that. Let me check something. Oh yeah, so lesson here would be, what would have been challenging would have been the fact that this was that previous day's low. So it might have just reversed or something, but we would have to pay attention to that. So this kind of is the repeat of what we just talked about, right? So we've got the sell signal from before, right before the session's opening. Then we've got that push down below the moving averages, the price action. And then we have it pushing past the box. Now it didn't come back for an entry, but it's okay. I probably wouldn't have entered this because we want it to come back to retest retest out of the box, the breakout box. And I probably would not have seen any of this movement either because I would probably be at work. So this would have been a missed opportunity. But I guess if you were, home all day, this would have been still a decent opportunity. Like if I got this sell signal again right here, then I probably would have entered. But you don't have targets, so this wouldn't work. Like I can't stare at my phone when I'm at work, so this, for me personally, this would not have worked. Oh, you know what too? So I had marked this on the daily, on the hourly, and this is one of the previous highs. So that's probably, this would have been a good move. Am I here? Oh, further down. Okay, so this one is, so there's a buy signal, and then we got like a sell signal that's happening. That would have been a good one. So, we probably would have anticipated for the buy, because if we had looked at it right, we're still above the moving average. We're still above, and this is still moving up pretty decent. That sell signal would have been like, ooh, a little red flag, and kind of, warned us, hey, to kind of pay attention. There might be a possible reversal. We don't know. But then we got that buy signal, and then all we have to do is just wait. And then once it pushes past, then we wait for that, retest, and we're able to hit 1, 2, almost a third profit that we have right there. And that's not bad either. So let's just say we probably would have had one loss so far, and that's just me kind of what's the top of my head. But the moves that we've caught so far, they were pretty decent. So this one would have been I don't really like this one, because yet again, like, I wouldn't have been able to look at this. I would not have been able to make this move, like this trade. So we got, first of all, there's a couple of things wrong. Like this whole area right here is just really sketchy. There is nothing definitive about it. I don't like this previous move that happened as well around 8:30 in the morning. It was probably something news related. So this would have been something I would not have been comfortable in probably pursuing. If I did, the only thing that would probably salvage it is this high right here. I would have probably, like, let's say we saw that we got that buy position, that buy signal, and then now it started moving past the, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's that previous high. the previous day's high. So then I would have been like, okay, well, if it's going to push past that, and now it's, you know, pushing past the moving average, and it pushes past this, then okay, maybe this might not be too bad of a trade. This previous high right here. But still, like, I probably would not have been able to see it, and I would not have been able to monitor it. I probably would have made very little on this trade, period. Or it might have honestly been like something like a break even or a very, very small loss or something. Because at around noon, I would not have been able to catch this and stop it and stop this from happening. So, this was probably something news related, and so I'm not entirely sure, something much from Tuesday. So, you know, I'm not entirely sure how that would come about in that instance. So, oh, this is another good one. This one's a little kind of shady too, right? So it looks like though overall the price might have been coming down. So I could have done a couple. I wouldn't have been able to catch this buy. I probably would have caught this short session, right? So we're still under that moving average. And then we finally get like a sell signal. No, we did get a buy signal, but you know, yet again, this buy signal is kind of going against what the moving averages are telling us, and that's not looking at like the higher time frame either to see if our bias is even correct. Because I'm not going to go back and forth, but it was just would be too much. But just looking at one time frame, 5-minute time frame, you know, it looks like we're having some lower highs and lower lows, and we finally got that sell signal. If it pushes down, and then we could, you know, go for that short position. And it looks like it's only gotten like maybe two profit levels that we could have gotten, which isn't, you know, not bad at all. Let's go a little further. Ooh, this one would made my heart ache. Because this would have fit basically all of our narratives, right? We would have gotten that buy signal. That looks good. Moving averages are looking good. We're above the 200. And these are moving up. And as this goes up, we've got that, the price going back up. It would have gotten this, but then we got the sell signal. So we probably just broke even, or like not even made any money. Or probably lost a little bit. But, you know, you can't win them all. What was it, a Friday? Ugh. That was a wacky one. Let's go here. Oh, this one's crappy too. That's alright. So we got the green. Okay, so what sucks about this one is we are at this previous session's, a previous day's high right here, and it seemed like it kind of wanted to mess around with it a little bit before at some point deciding to actually move forward to this. This is some kind of news related thing here. So I'm not sure if I'm able to look at it, but I mean, it is what it is. This would have been a pretty challenging one because in theory, I probably, in a higher time frame, I feel like I would have probably marked this and just kind of waited to see what was going to basically happen with price. Because, I mean, as you guys can see, it's just trying to just trap traders. This is very sideways, and this can be very, very challenging. But, I mean, I guess, you know, let's just go back to what we talked about. All right, so we got a buy session. Well, it still doesn't look good. If it broke, nope. It would have stank. It would have been shitty to try to get into this position. It really would have been shitty to get into this position because I would not want to sell. I would not want to sell this position, even though it would have looked good selling it. It would have been very short. Like, yeah, we would have probably hit our target, but I just don't like all these mixed signals before. Like right now, this looks good, but I probably would not have traded this because I don't like it. Why would I want to sell, right, going against everything when we're trying to go with the trend? And I'm not gonna, no, like 1 o'clock, noon, no, none of this would have transpired properly for me. No, this one, So we got to buy before, and then we've got this level. Okay, so this one probably would have honestly been like a pretty solid loss, because I would have been anticipating buy position, right? Because we have this buy signal, moving average is above. No, because nothing broke through. I'm kidding, because it didn't break through. If price broke through looking for a buy, then I would have put a buy in, but it didn't. The price didn't move above it, so I wouldn't have traded this. And unless, nope, because this is like a past noon, I wouldn't have seen this at all. This move right here would not have been something I would have seen. But if somebody was like watching it and they're like, hey, price is finally breaking past past the box and is under the moving average, then, you know, maybe I'll just go for a quick scalp. But past noon, I wouldn't have been able to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have given a fuck, because I wouldn't see it. This one, oh, this is lovely. So we've got, no, this is pretty, I mean, we got the sell signal with the super trend, and we've already, there's a really nice trend that's happening. Then we've got this previous day's low that's right here, and the price is just like retouching it a couple of times over there. Underneath of the moving averages, that's beautiful. We've got a little buy signal that happened. We didn't get a definitive move past the box, but we did get another signal, and this right here would have been the perfect opportunity, and we could have just probably, got the 1, 2, 3, 3 levels right there, and that would have been beautiful. So then we're back to being like ridiculously profitable in that aspect. Oh, this one would have been a crappy one. So we did get a sell signal, which is great, right? So probably would have anticipated at the time of this happening right here, I probably would have anticipated a short position. But then we started noticing that, okay, now we started getting this buy signal, right, as this is finalizing the box. Then we, no, I don't think I would have liked this one. I don't know if I would have liked this one. I mean, I might have just, I'll just probably say that if I did enter, because it did move past the box, we got the buy signal, and then we started seeing this movement, and this would have looked really nice for me, but, this may have caused me to probably just take like a small loss, like this price action. And what I don't like about it too is it's past noon. So I would have been like, nope, I need to just take all my positions out. So this would not have been like anything remarkable for me to take. Like right around here, I probably would have just been like, okay, whatever, I'm done. And maybe that's what's one thing I need to take in consideration too, is to not do positions around noon. Like cut all my positions around noon, 11:30. I go from there. All right. And you know, it's like I said, it's kind of is really challenging to do these type of things, because we don't know any market structure on the higher time frame, on the daily, that type of stuff, weekly, none of that. So we're just literally looking at 5 minutes worth of data of price movement, and honestly, that's really not enough sometimes to determine kind of, you know, the key levels that we really want to look at. So this one we've got, I don't like this one because back at, you know, yet again, like it's not, I don't see a substantial trend of any sorts. It's just very, very, very sideways. And then we just got a sell signal with a super trend before breakout. I don't know if I like that, but if I did see this breakout, I mean, you would have gotten this. And that's not too bad, but I would have not been able to trade any of this because it's around noon. So, yeah, that one's, like I said, that one's kind of rough to determine whether or not, you know, and I don't want to say definitively, like, yeah, that's what's going to happen all the time. No, it's not. You know, like, we might, depending on what the market structure is, I probably wouldn't even trade at that. There are probably some trades I probably wouldn't trade because I don't see anything, in higher time frame that makes me like, okay, like confirming my bias and my entry and stuff, So this one, ooh, yeah, I would have definitely sold this one. So I love trading. This is the price action part of me right here. Here, let me turn all this on. I love movements like this. These type of beautiful candles right here. What I like to see is basically it's like an M formation, right? So I like this massive push of, of just pure price, right? Price just skyrocketing, and it's like if it's bullish, right, it's going to just be this massive move and sometimes a little bit of consolidation. And you can kind of start seeing at the top, it kind of forms, I like these type of formations where it's like an M formation. Okay. And then it's like that. I love these type of formations. So what I typically like to do when I see those is I'll mark this part right here, kind of where the M part is, and wait for price to balance back all of this. And as you can see, that's kind of what it did. And it kind of did the same thing here. So sometimes what you'll notice when this M happens, at this type of push with movement, then it'll kind of form like, I don't know if you want to call this it's like a wonky W, because all it is just price trying to rebalance itself, because there was a massive order, somebody and their mom, some institution, whoever the hell it is that has like a shit ton of money, had moved it to get to whatever objective that they want to do. They pushed it. And then what they did is they started running out of basically people pushing that price up, and the price started basically going down. And then it's just back to trying to rebalance itself again. I love these type of moves because when big stuff like this happens, there's a high probability that price is going to go back to these areas. So I don't even know what you want to call those, but I love those type of moves because you can see, okay, push up, and then it's rebalancing itself, and then yet again, it's price trying to rebalance itself, and then same thing here, like all that push up again and went back to rebalance itself. It's probably one of my favorite and one of my most profitable patterns that I like to see and pay attention to, but I just don't know how to like make it into an indicator or anything like that, because it's just something that you watch and you notice. So I would have traded that just strictly on that move alone. And I probably wouldn't have cared. I would have done exactly what I did, where I would have gotten rid of all of my indicators and just kind of followed it how I would have followed it. Yep. And it's beautiful because for that M move, right? For that M that I marked, that M right here, right? This little line right here is exactly or precisely where the mid-level is for the box. And all we had to do is just wait for it to break that area and then to push down. And there you go. And then we would have hit 1, 2, maybe, possibly the third level. Profitability right there. Cool. I didn't plan that, by the way. So we have here, same thing, right? So this would have been really interesting, and it would have been a little conflicting because we did get the signal, right, from we did get the signal with the super trend signal that's right here, and we have prices below the moving average and the 8 moving average as well. And then when this decides to happen, we were probably anticipating for that move. We did notice that price did go up with that buy signal. Now, what I like about this move, but I'll say a couple concerning things. What I do like about this move is I do like that the 8 moving average, the orange line, is a lot further from here. So usually you'll see moves to where it's trying, like price is trying to rebalance itself, and then you'll see candles like this form where it's going to break past this low and high. And as you can see, price also retested that, and that would have been a great opportunity for an entry right there, right? And it's hitting, I don't know if you guys can see it, and it's hitting the 8 EMA as a retest. And this would have been a perfect opportunity for like a quick scalp. But the next thing that would have been concerning right here is this level, which was the low, I believe. Yeah, that's the low. Because we still don't know if it's just going to retest that low and come back down. So, but I mean, when this stuff happens right here, you don't really know what's happening. Like like right now, this looks good because we see it, but when it's happening in person, it's a little concerning. So this would have been it depends on your risk appetite and kind of your level of comfortability. That's why you want to always make sure to look if there's any levels or any areas that look good to you that might make it a good entry point on your end. So we've got this one right here. This one would have been promising. Dang it. This would have been really promising if you had probably, because, dang it, it sucks because I don't know I have a feeling there was probably a level here. That's just my guess. So we did get our signal with the super trend. Moving averages were below that. And then we are pushing past the low right here, the previous day's low. So that would have been a good opportunity for a buy, wait for it to move out the box, or retest this, whatever the case may be. I probably would have entered quite early on this one, to be completely honest with you. Because I just have a feeling that this probably was a key level around this area, and I would have probably anticipated 9:30, there was probably going to be some kind of move pushing at this low. But either way, let's say you did enter it to this, you would still have gotten that first level right there. So it still works out really, really well, and you followed the rule. So this one would have been a hard one for me, to be honest, because I would not have entered this at around 1 o'clock, 1:30. So this would have sucked, because then I would have been okay, probably gone for a buy, because overall it looks like it was going to go up, but it didn't push past this level, push out of the box or anything, and we didn't get any sort of buy signal. We had this buy signal, but then we ended up getting this sell signal that happened, and then price action just kind of started going down. So this would not have been something I would have been happy with to happen. And it is what it is. Like I said, it's not perfect, but at least it's something. So here we've got the buy signal and the same concept. We are above the moving average, the 200, the red line, and then this is going exceptionally well with the moving average as well, with the 8 moving average orange line. Then we would have waited for the retest, push out the box, and we've got maybe 1 or 2, possibly, 2 target levels, and we should be good with that one. And it ended around 11, so that would have been pretty easy peasy right there. Somewhat the same thing. I think this would have been a little nerve-wracking, because even if you would have reached the second level of profit right there. And depending on, your risk management, where you put your stop loss and stuff like that, because you could put your stop loss, down this way right here, but you don't know, sometimes you don't know what the range is for the box, for the breakout range, right? So that might be too much, or you could probably have it right here in the middle, the mid-level of the opening range breakout box. But it just depends. But and let's say you did, you could have. Let's say even if you did the breakout, right? Let's say you got the box, and you were waiting for that price to move or whatever. You would have still gotten, the 2 level profit right there. And if you wanted to, let's say you even got stopped out, it wasn't enough, and you're just kind of waiting. Well, for me this wouldn't work because it's noon. But let's just say you're just kind of waiting, you have nothing happening, and you could have waited for this retest that happened, and then you could have gotten another trade in, and you could have, won to the 3rd level as well. So, it just depends on what you're seeing, the time, and things like that. Like for me personally, that would work. This one would probably, not even gonna lie to you, this probably would have been a loss. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't have been because I would have been irritated because nothing is trying to push through, and I'm not going to wait past noon for my entry, so this would not have happened, period. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Let me put this back up. I didn't really kind of go into detail on the rest of it, but it was just something just very brief that I just thought of. As far as, doing the opening range breakout for the New York Stock Exchange, which is at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We did the Dow Jones Micro E-mini futures. We're only doing it for, that day. My cutoff point personally is noon. If you wanted to trade past that, that's going to have to be totally up to you. You would just have to make sure that, everything that you're seeing also makes sense when you're doing your chart. Like you have to still take market structure, support and resistance, like key levels, that type of stuff into consideration when you're doing that. If you're gonna trade, past noon and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. But I just wanted to do something brief, but for me to look at in the future, and also just for anybody else that's just kind of interested. And sorry, I've been sick, and I just don't feel well, so my voice is a little off, and I probably should have said that in the beginning. And but yeah, hope this was helpful in some way, and I hope you guys have a good one.